You are 54 years old. It is a Tuesday afternoon. Not a remarkable Tuesday. Not the kind that gets remembered or retold. Just a Tuesday where the light comes through the horizontal blinds at a certain angle and lands in stripes across the floor, and you have been sitting in this chair for longer than you meant to. The coffee on the side table went cold while you weren't paying attention. You are not in crisis. Establish that clearly. You are employed. You have been employed consistently for 31 years. You have a roof. You have a car that runs. You have people who love you and a life that, examined from the outside, looks completely fine. Fine. That word. You have been fine your entire adult life. Fine at 24, fine at 33, fine at 47, fine right now at 54 with cold coffee and striped shadows on the floor. And fine is not nothing. Fine kept you going. Fine is not a word you should be ashamed of. But fine is also not what you meant when you were 22 years old and you imagined yourself at 54. When you imagined 54, you imagined options. The specific, concrete freedom of having enough behind you that the things in front of you became choices rather than obligations. That's what you imagined. And sitting here now, you are going to do something you have been half avoiding for years. You are going to open every account you have, all of them, at the same time, and look at the total. Not glance at it. Not check it in passing. Look at it directly. You open the laptop, the checking account, the savings account, the 401k you started at 34, later than you should have, but you started it. The credit card that has carried a balance somewhere between $2,000 and $4,000 for the last 11 years, without ever fully disappearing and without ever fully growing, just hovering, persistent and unremarkable, like certain kinds of weather. You look at the total, you sit with it, and then, without deciding to, you start going back. Not in the dramatic way, not with music underneath, in the quiet, ordinary Tuesday afternoon way where the specific moments just start appearing. The ones that didn't feel like decisions when they were happening. They felt like living. They felt like reward. They felt like finally. The first one is from when you were 24 years old. You had just gotten your first real job, real money. Not a lot of it, but more than you had ever made before, and the difference felt enormous. It felt like a door opening into a version of yourself you had been waiting to become. And someone in your office drove a car. A specific car. A car that looked exactly like the version of you that you wanted to be. Not the car itself, you didn't care that much about cars, but what the car announced, what it said to the world without requiring you to say anything. This person has arrived. This person is on their way. So you went on a Saturday. You sat in the showroom and the seat wrapped around you and the salesman had a blue jacket and a practiced calm. And he said, the monthly payment like it was a fact of nature. Like weather. Unavoidable. Reasonable. You signed. You drove home with the window down because it was the kind of moment that required wind. And for the first afternoon, you felt exactly what you went there to feel. You felt like somebody. Nobody tells you that feeling has an expiration date. Nobody tells you that you can buy the announcement of arrival without buying the actual arrival. That the car is not the version of yourself you wanted. The car is just a thing that costs money every month. The version of yourself you wanted lives somewhere else entirely, in a set of decisions that have nothing to do with what you're driving and everything to do with where the money goes after the payment clears. The payment was $520 a month, 60 months, plus insurance, $215 a month because you were 24, and the insurance industry priced that combination with cold statistical accuracy, plus gas, plus the first repair at month 7, a sensor, just $280, just this once. Just the first of many just this onces that a car requires across its life, because cars do not stop costing money. They never stop. They just vary in how much and how often. In the first year alone, the real cost of that car was just under $10,000. None of it built anything. Not a dollar of it compounded. Not a dollar of it moved you closer to the options you imagined at 22. You were not buying a car. You were buying the performance of having arrived. And the performance is expensive. And it expires. And it requires constant renewal. You are 29. You are sitting across from a coworker named David. David is not flashy. David drives a car that is several years old with a dent in the rear bumper he hasn't bothered to fix. David brings his lunch. David does not belong to the nice gym. And David, in the course of an ordinary Thursday afternoon work conversation, mentions that he has been maxing his Roth IRA since he was 23. You nod. You say something like, "Yeah, that's smart." You sound like you know what he means. You do not fully know what he means. That evening, you search it. You read for 45 minutes. And something happens in your chest that is not quite envy and not quite shame and not quite panic. Something more like vertigo. The floor shifting slightly beneath a version of yourself that believed it was standing on solid ground. David has been putting $400 a month into a Roth IRA since he was 23. 6 years, you do the math. David already has somewhere around $38,000 sitting in a tax-advantaged account growing quietly in the background while he ate his packed lunches and drove his dented car and did not belong to the nice gym. $38,000. Growing. Tax-free on the way out. You have $4,200 in savings and $2,800 on a credit card. That night, you open a Roth IRA. You put $200 in it. It feels like starting. It feels like turning something around. It feels like beginning. 6 weeks later, the car needs work. $840 for a timing belt, the mechanic says, is not optional. You look at the Roth IRA. You look at the invoice. You make the transfer. $200 back to checking. The account returns to zero. You tell yourself you'll restart it next month. You do not restart it next month. The account sits at zero for 2 more years while you mean to, while the intention is present and the action is always just slightly in the future, after the credit card is paid down. When things settle, when the timing is better. The timing is never better. $200 a month from age 29 at 7% for 25 years. The number is $162,000. You have done this math. You have closed the tab afterward. You have done it again years later when you could stand to look at it. $162,000. If the account had not gone back to zero, if you had restarted it next month, like you said. The account sat at zero for 2 years while you meant to. You are 33. You get a significant raise, $12,000 a year before tax. It lands as roughly $730 extra per month. For about a week, you feel genuinely wealthy. Not rich, but comfortable in a way the tightness of your 20s never allowed. Then the raise disappears. It just dissolves into the life. The apartment upgrade you had been considering becomes more possible, so you move. Rent up $280 a month. The car situation gets addressed. Payment up $190 a month. A vacation finally taken. A few things for the apartment. Nothing dramatic. Nothing that feels, in isolation, like a mistake. The $730 is gone within 2 months. The raise left no mark on the savings account. No mark on the investment account. No mark on the net worth number. It marked the apartment and the car and the vacation with a slight quality upgrade, and then it was finished. Here is the thing nobody tells you about a raise. A raise is a fork. Every dollar of it can go in one of 2 directions. It can be absorbed by the lifestyle, and lifestyle will always absorb it, completely, quietly, instantly, like water into dry ground, or it can be redirected before it lands. Automated, before you see it, moved to an investment account on the day after payday before the lifestyle knows it exists. One direction builds something, the other direction maintains something. And when the fork is right there, when the raise just arrived and the lifestyle hasn't expanded yet, that window is brief. 2 weeks, maybe 3. And then it closes and the lifestyle fills the space and the fork is gone and the direction is chosen without ever feeling like a choice. You let the lifestyle absorb it. Every raise, every bonus, every time the income expanded, the lifestyle moved with it, immediately and completely, and without ever requiring a decision. Because a spending system does not require decisions. It just runs. You are 38. You calculate your net worth for the first time. Assets minus liabilities. Everything you own minus everything you owe. You do the arithmetic, and the number in the middle is $31,000. 16 years of working. $31,000. You look at the number for about 2 minutes, then you close the spreadsheet and do not open it again for 4 years. Because looking at the number requires doing something about it. And doing something about it requires admitting you haven't been. And that admission has a weight you are not ready to carry on a Thursday evening after a long week. This is the quiet genius of not looking. The number cannot alarm you if you never see it. Fine continues if you manage what you allow yourself to see. And fine is durable. Fine requires almost no maintenance.